When Karl Rove worked for President Bush, he had so much influence that some called him Bush's brain. Tonight, the woman known as the other side of Barack Obama's brain. Valerie Jarrett, a 51-year-old business leader, single mother, just maybe the most powerful woman in Chicago besides Oprah. And she's earned the complete confidence of Barack and Michelle Obama. You first met the Obamas when you tried to hire Michelle for a job.
I was trying to recruit her into city government when I was Mayor Daley's deputy chief of staff, and I was successful.
And before she took the job, she wanted you to meet her fiance.
She did. In fact, the three of us had dinner, and she had some serious reservations about whether she's going to leave the practice of law and leap into the mayor's office in a political environment. And the two of them said, how about if we have dinner and go out and talk this through? And I knew that unless this conversation ended well, probably the two of them were going to go home and say, not so much, maybe that's not the right move. And so at the end of the dinner, I did say, well, did I pass the test? And we laughed. And she, of course, did come and join us and made a huge difference.
She's now known the Obamas for 17 years and is one of their closest friends. Her title on the campaign is Senior Advisor, which means she often serves as Obama's surrogate at meetings and events he can't attend. After Michelle, Valerie Jarrett may be one of the people he trusts the most. Do they look to you to kind of keep them honest?
Absolutely, and I think I would describe it not so much as to keep them honest, but to help them do their own kind of gut check and look in themselves. I mean, when you have so many people kind of surrounding you and giving you advice, oftentimes I'll just say, what do you think? What do you think is the right thing to do?
I understand you were critical when it came to the controversy over his former pastor, Jeremiah Wright. What did you advise him to do?
It was a very personal and painful experience for both he and for Michelle. And I think, to have your pastor say things with which you totally disagree, that you'd never heard him say before, and to say things that weren't so kind to you on a national platform that turns into an international platform was painful. And I did encourage him to give the speech that he gave on race. I encouraged him to, just speak from the heart, which he did. And I think it will go down in history as one of the great speeches ever.
Jarrett's considered to be part of a new generation of black leaders and has been heavily influenced by her pioneering parents. Her mother, a child psychologist and educator who at 80 continues to hold 2 jobs, and her father, a renowned pathologist who traveled with his family to Africa and Iran to study blood diseases and genetics.
He was the first African-American resident, yes, at Preston St. Luke's Hospital, and he kind of broke the barrier. They had told him that he should come in the back door, and he wasn't about to do that as a physician, and so he walked in the front door, and then the next day, all of the staff came in the front door with him, the African-American staff, so he kind of broke the glass ceiling there.
How have you been shaped by the accomplishments of your parents?
To grow up with parents who were one step removed from such blatant discrimination, and yet to grow up in a household where my parents said, look, life is not fair. Don't expect it to be fair. Work twice as hard and just, keep focused on working hard, and eventually it will pay off.
You've also said it's always going to be harder as a woman. I'm just curious if you saw evidence of that during the primary process and your thoughts on how Hillary Clinton was treated.
That was a hard journey, and she took a lot of hits along the way. Many times she was treated very unfairly, but she persevered. And so in a sense, because it was harder, her accomplishment is even greater.
What do you envision for yourself if Senator Obama is successful and is elected?
Oh, I can't even go there. It's a simple question. You would think I could answer it. I can't even. It's a distraction. It's a distraction. And as I said, Senator Obama tells us to keep focused. And as Michelle likes to say, not getting ahead of ourselves.
By the way, Valerie Jarrett's daughter, Laura, is following in Senator Obama's footsteps. She is heading into her 2nd year at Harvard Law School.